After a staggering 4 months of little to no content, Epic came back with a banger and released a Chapter 2 Season 2 update for Fortnite Battle Royale. And what an update this has been, lads. We've got the agency, new map locations, new weapons, and a brand new battle pass. It's been amazing to watch Fortnite grow over the years and see the massive impact that it's had on gaming as a whole. I mean, mate, what other game lets you be John Wick with a lightsaber? But of course, today we're not going to be looking at the new stuff, but rather the old stuff, as we go back to day 1 of Battle Royale and we work our way through all the major changes that have brought us from way back then till now. Let's jump into it. So Fortnite Battle Royale began as a PvP test for Save the World players, a mode that had been in development hell since 2011, and within the 6-year period from 2011 to 2017 had received some substantial changes in regards to the art style and overall aim of the game. The Battle Royale mode came as a response to the wildly successful PUBG, which had become a gaming juggernaut on Steam and to this day still holds a massive player base with its mobile version. Then the game went public with Season 1 on the 26th of December 2017, and it was pretty bare bones, I'm not gonna lie, but it was simple and it had a lot of charm. This was a very experimental time for Fortnite, and looking back on it, we saw some really wild additions to the game which we don't see now. Some of those changes didn't even stick around for a day. And then there was 50v50, which paved the way for large team modes like Team Rumble. Don't get me wrong, man, Team Rumble's great, but there was nothing more intense than those 50v50 matches, which ended up whittling down to something like a 4v8, and you had like 10 people trying to watch you beat the odds and get the win. They definitely need to bring that mode back soon with the Chapter 2 map. Then there was Season 2 and the first battle pass dropped. Compared to newer battle passes, the skins were really simple, but they were iconic. I mean, just look at how many shield variants Epic's released for all the people who missed out on the Black Knight shield. Again, not much happened this season, but we saw the birth of Tilted Towers, which was the centre point of action for the rest of the Chapter 1 map. Like, if you wanted to get good at this game quick, you would drop Tilted non-stop with your squad. You'd get eliminated 100 times off the rip, except for the one time you made out unscathed. And if all your squad got eliminated except you, things turned scary real quick. Anyway, moving on, Season 3 we got arguably the most iconic battle pass. It came around the time when Fortnite was just blown up, so there was a lot of buzz and talk around Rust Lords and Best Mates and John Wick. Apart from that, things were pretty calm, except one day a warning appeared on the TVs around the map, which was just the beginning of a storyline that would span beyond what anyone expected. A comet appeared in the sky, which was a small glint at first, but over time it became clear that it was growing in size and it was getting closer to the island. People speculated that it was going to hit Tilted, but no one really knew for sure. Meteors started falling from space in the middle of the matches, and things were starting to get a little crazy, which led to Season 4, when the meteor finally hit and made a massive hole in the middle of the map, turning the iconic Dusty Depot into Dusty Divot. This season was all about superheroes, movies and blockbusters, with the blockbuster skin turning out to be the Visitor, who, if I'm thinking right, turned the movie prop rocket into a real rocket so he could launch himself into space and break the barrier, leaving a massive rift in the sky. And we also got that unreal solo mode with Thanos, which in my opinion was so much better than the endgame LTM. Like, there was nothing better than there being 2 players left in the final circle and one of them being this 8-foot massive purple roidhead. Like, that is totally balanced, man. Like, there was nothing wrong with that. Oh, and we got Orange Justice. Next up was Season 5, and do you remember that rift I mentioned from the Rocket event? It gotten bigger and things started to fall through it. Worlds were beginning to collide. We lost the iconic Moisty Mire, but we gained the desert region, Paradise Palms, Viking Village and Lazy Links. This was the season we got the lovable and iconic Kevin the Cube as well, who appeared on the mountain, rolled around for a bit and then took a dive, as you do. Now, Season 6 is when things started to get a little crazy. The Cube rose up from the lake and took the middle island with him. They fly around the map for a bit just to get some juice from the corner shop, and then they decided to summon up some zombies. Then the cube explodes in this epic finale event, giving us the first of a kind cutscene which had never happened before on that point in Fortnite. We were always in control of our character for the events previous, so it was really weird seeing the camera move away from behind our backs for the first time. Afterwards we got some really cool new islands in the Loot Lake area, and a mysterious iceberg appeared in the distance off the coast of the map. Right now, Season 7. I love this season, man. That massive ice cube I was on about smashed into the island and wiped out iconic places like Greasy, Flush Factory, more. But in the place, we got Happy Hamlet, Frosty Flights and Polar Peak. And we got planes, which weren't really balanced, but you know you'd be lying if you said they weren't fun to use. The Ice King had brought us home on Polar Peak and he was chilling up there for most of the season. Underneath the castle was some dragon eggs and an unknown being encased in ice chained up, but as the season went on, more and more of him became visible and eventually out came the prisoner and we got the block. Anyway, the Ice King eventually appears in a frozen sphere and he chills for a bit before he decides to send a massive snowstorm over the island, bringing the zombies back in ice form. The prisoner escapes and we get some earthquakes around the island, forming cracks and destroying some parts of the map. But then something incredible happened. While the viewer was watching this video, they decided to tap the like button and subscribe to this channel, putting a massive smile on the video creator's face, even though you can't see it under his gas mask. Now we're on to Season 8. The iconic Wailing Woods and Lazy Links are gone. But we get Sunny Steps, a massive volcano and Lazy Lagoon in return. We get Pirate Fish Stick and a bit of potassium. The Loot Lake Vault reveals itself and we get one Vaulting item, which of course the Fortnite community, being the Fortnite community, voted for the drum gun. I'm still fuming at that. The volcano erupts straight after and Retail Row and Tilted Towers get destroyed. Two of the OG locations at that point, and they'd been with us for so long. Polar Peak also got cracked and Thanos decides to join the party again, but this time with the Avengers and the Chitauri. After that, Season 9 hits and we're right in the future. We get futuristic revamps of Tilted Towers and Retail Row in the form of Neo Tilted and the Mega Mall. A massive eye belonging to a monster appears in the side of Polar Peak, eventually breaking away and mooching into the sea for a swim, and the robot gets built to fight the Polar Peak monster. While this robot's getting built, you can see the Polar Peak are training for his 100-meter swimming badge around the island. Then next thing you know, the robot's fully built, the monster climbs on the island and they have a full-on scrap. Like, if you thought a fight on the playground was bad, then wait till you see the fight on the island. Team Robot wins anyway, but he leaves a really unstable orb at Loot Lake. Instead of picking his litter up, he does a dance and then mooches off, never to be seen again. Oh, and of course, how could I forget, we got actual John Wick, which was amazing, but I have to say I still like Pound Shop John Wick better. And now onto the most balanced season, Season X or Season 10. The orb explodes and the visitor's back. We get Tilted Town, Zombie Retail, Starry Suburbs, Moisty Palms and Greasy Grove, now with plenty of taco time. Mechs roam the island, causing an absolute grievance on anyone who dared cross them, and we got Dusty Depot back with a big meatball frozen in the sky above it. And the floating island from Season 6 is back. We get the Scientist, which basically looks like the Visitor except he's been smashing KFC, and he's building another rocket, and your eyes do not deceive you, that is the bat symbol. We got Gotham City and Batman, and the rocket's launched again, but this time it's at Dusty Depot. Right, things are getting a little confusing now. Can someone explain what's going on? And then Fortnite went dark for a couple of days. Some people actually thought the game was shutting down at this point. Ridiculous, I know, but that's Twitter for you. And just when the players couldn't stand being away from Fortnite any longer, this happened. It was a new island and a fresh start, an alternative reality with brand new characters and a brand new storyline. Everything was fresh and new. Fortnite was rebooted. And things were a lot simpler. Chapter 2 went back to the basics of what made Fortnite great. There were no mechs or infinity blades. It was just the core basics, and it was a breath of fresh air after the chaos of Season 10. But then the update slowed down and not much happened after Chapter 2's release. There was only a few small changes here and there, such as the Halloween event in the form of the Storm King, which was just a repurposed boss fight from Save the World with some improvements here and there. And it was only 2 months later that we got a batch of new content in the form of the Winterfest update and the Star Wars event. But even after that, another quiet period. Or, you know, besides the ninja skin. It was only until Season 2 was around the corner that the cogs begun to turn again. Furniture in the island started to turn gold, and Fortnite began dropping some mysterious teasers in the main menu and on the social media. After 4 months of quiet time and a significantly longer than usual Season 1, it was time to shake things up on the island yet again. And there you go, that just about covers most of the important things from the past 12 seasons. Make sure to use my supporter creator code if you want to support me. I try to shout out every supporter who sends me screenshots on Twitter or Discord. These are absolute legends, a lot of yous. I know there's a lot of details I missed out on this video, but they were either too small for me to include or I just genuinely forgot about it. Leave a comment below on what I missed out, and if it's a case of me forgetting, I'll note it down and make sure it's in next season's video. Thank you so much to my lovely Discord server for helping me out, especially Space Stan for providing an extensive list of things that I missed out in my last video. As always, I hope you're well and you will be seeing me again next week. Yes, big up on the weekly upload schedule because I'm sticking to it, and the next video is going to be a banger, I promise you. So make sure those notifications are on, or else.